Welcome, coaches, to the Sportsbox 3D Golf app. My name is Ryan Crawley. I'm the Director of Education for Sportsbox, and today I'm going to go through a little coach demo of the app and talk about the coach process when using 3D. Now, when I look at 3D, I think that this is an incredible communication tool. A lot of times, coaches want to pull up a million numbers and look at all this data and have them see what is good and what is bad inside the golf swing. My goal today is to help simplify this process and get it so that you could go ahead, download the app, and start using it in every single lesson. So first things first, when we're talking about the coach process, the first thing that we're going to do with a student when they are in front of us is obviously record one of those swings. In order to do so, we can be here on the home page and click Create Session at the top of the screen, or in the bottom right, you'll see that there's a plus sign. When I hit that Create Session, I'll then be able to see which player I would like to record for. If you're new to the app, you'll notice that you won't have any students. Now, a lot of times coaches want to try to bypass this. They don't want to create student accounts. Let me tell you why this is going to be really important. In order for us to first give you good data, we need to know the player's gender, dexterity, and their height. Based on that information, we can then scale the golfer and get you good, accurate 3D data. So the first thing that you're going to want to do is just click this New Student, click Create New Student Account, and then you'll want to just type in your player's name. You'll also want to put in their gender, their height, and then if they're right or left-handed. Once you're done doing that, you'll click Next, and then here, you'll notice that this student already exists. If that is the case, you'll see that there's a little Add button. If this is a first-time student, they don't have the app, it'll send them an email and they can register for the app then. Once you've added that student to your account, you'll then be able to record a swing. It'll then ask you which golf club are you using. You'll select whichever club, and then you'll be able to see the recording screen. A few things for you to know. First things first, you can record from face on or down the line. It is completely up to you. Now, the trackers that you're going to see from face on and from down the line will be different. Most of our trackers you're going to see when you record from face on. When you record from down the line, you'll be able to see thrust and some shaft data that you wouldn't see from a face-on viewpoint. You'll notice that there's an outline of a player here that is just there to give you some guidance. What we're looking for, these two main things. First, you want to record at hand height. When you record at hand height, that's going to ensure that we're giving you good, accurate data. The other thing that we're going to need is to make sure that we can see the player and their golf club through the entirety of the golf swing. So roughly you're going to be anywhere from 7 to 10 feet away from the player when you're recording, and you're going to be in line with the hands. They might not perfectly fit inside of that outline. That's okay. We just wanted to help give guidance to your players and to some coaches to know that it is important to record at hand height. Now, if you ever need to adjust brightness, that's going to be in the upper right-hand corner where this little brightness bar is. Go ahead, just slide that, it'll adjust. Down at the bottom, you can just tap on the red dot to start recording and tap on it again to stop. You'll be able to toggle between face on and down the line if you need to, and then you'll also be able to zoom in or zoom out if you ever need that as well. Zooming out will allow you to record from roughly 3 to 4 feet away from the player. It's very popular that we may need to import a video every now and then. Make sure when we import that video that the video is in slow motion. If any part of that video is regular speed, it will not work. Down in the lower left-hand corner, you'll see that there's this little gallery. Tap on that, and this will allow us to import that swing. Once you're done recording the swing or importing the swing, you'll see that we can then trim the video here. I always suggest trimming the video. It'll make going from 2D to 3D even faster. You'll just fill out this information and hit Analyze. Just a heads up, some of the information you are going to lose when you import a swing compared to recording in the app. So I always suggest that you record in the app in order to see all the different trackers. There is a little shot survey for you down at the bottom. Go ahead and fill that out. Once you've recorded your player's swing, it's time to obviously analyze it. Now, one of the most popular questions that I get from coaches is, how do I know which numbers to use? And I think the easiest way to use 3D is sticking to your normal analysis process. Again, 3D is an amazing communication tool. It can help our players understand what we're actually telling them, and it allows them to be able to track their progress and really make those changes faster. Think of your normal analysis process. For myself personally, I'm watching what's happening to the golf ball. I'm hearing how contact is. I'm asking my players some questions, and I might be taking in some further data. Maybe I'm looking at a launch monitor or some ground force or any other type of data that you think is important. Now, based on that information that we're taking in, it guides us to, okay, here's what I want to work on. Something that I think is beneficial for coaches is just look at the swing in 2D and tell me, what is it that you like? What is it that you don't like? In this example here, you can see at the top of my player's swing, I think he could have a little bit more width. I don't love that the shaft is getting past parallel, and I believe that this is causing him to get a little bit too far inside. He's losing his posture, and it's leading to him having a two-way miss of blocks and hooks. So, if I want to give him a little bit more width, which trackers can I pull up? In this case, I'm going to pull up flex, lead and trail elbow flexion, and I'm also going to pull up this mid-hand sway. From here, now I can talk to my player and just show him, hey, look, at the top of your backswing, we're going to notice that the shaft of the golf club's getting past parallel, and you could use a little bit more width, or I'd like to feel like your arms are a little bit further away from your body. At the top, you can see that your mid-hand sway is -8 inches. Let's try to move that to, roughly -15 inches or so. We can also see at the top of your backswing, your trail elbow is at 69 degrees, lead elbow 137. Let's try to get that to be more 75, 145 for the trail and lead elbow as well. So right here, I think would be a really good position for this player. So you can see how simple it is to be able to use 3D when we look at it from that simplistic lens. A lot of times coaches are going to pull up a bunch of different trackers and they're looking at the app to tell them what is good and what is bad. And that's a whole new analysis process, which is going to be very challenging unless you have years and years of experience of using 3D and looking at it from this lens. There's some other great tools that you can use when performing the analysis as well. So down in the bottom right, you have split. This allows me just to jump back and forth from 2D to 3D to split screen. So however you want to show this to a player, you can. And above split, you have view, which allows us to look at it from a few different angles. Now, you can see I have some lines running through the avatar as well. So in the upper right-hand corner, there's the two squares sandwiched on top of one another. If I tap on that, this will allow me to add or get rid of any of these visuals on the avatar that I would like to. In the upper left-hand corner, you're going to notice there's a microphone, which allows you to do a voiceover that you can then share with your player. And then there's also a drawing tools option in the upper right-hand corner where I can draw on the 2D side of the app. You will not be able to draw on the 3D. When you're at a key position like top of backswing, you'll notice that the tiles do color code, letting you know if they're in range or out of range relative to the PGA or LPGA Tour. One thing that I want to make sure that coaches understand is just because a player is in range doesn't mean that we can't change it. Notice, this player had 3 green numbers at the top of his backswing for his flexion and his sway, and I wanted to change it. This is why I think you sticking to your normal analysis is going to help use the app more effectively. That way, you don't get caught off when you see a green number at the bottom or you see a red number at the bottom. You're still trusting your instincts. The range is just what 80% of the PGA or LPGA Tour is doing. There are many, many ways to swing the golf club. If you tap on any of these numbers, you'll be able to be brought to this secondary menu, which will show you the specific range and a definition for you to look over. So some incredible tools for you to be able to use here. And obviously from an analysis standpoint, these numbers are going to make it easier for our players to be able to see what we're truly asking of them. Here, you can see the change that Frederick made at the top. Now, lead elbow 145, trail elbows at 70, and then that mid-hand sway is at negative 13 inches. Look how much better structure he has at the top of his swing because of this. Now that we identified that we want to work on this player's width at the top, we can then assign him a goal. This goal feature is going to become your favorite feature. It's a great way to be able to track progress and provide our students with instantaneous feedback when they're practicing on their own. In the upper right-hand corner, you're going to see this bullseye icon. Just tap on that, and here it'll pull up the player's goal. If a goal has not been created for the player, you'll just tap the three dots, hit create new goal, and then it'll pull up some popular goals for you here. You just tap the down arrow and you'll be able to see choose this goal when using the pre-made goals. Down at the bottom, you'll see create custom goal, and this will allow me to select whichever trackers I would want to use for the goal. In this player's example, we talked about the lead and trail elbow flexion and mid hands sway, so maybe I want to pull those up. You'll notice that you can have up to 3 trackers. Click next. It'll then ask you which position. In this case, we're working on top of the backswing. So I'm just going to move each of these to the top, and notice how these ranges populate. That again is going to be the PGA or LPGA Tour range. We can then customize where we want our player to be. Again, with this player, I wanted to have more width at the top, so I'm going to make this range a little bit wider and really make him exaggerate it. Just tap next. It'll then have you put a title in and a description if you would like. Then you just hit create goal and set as active. Now we'll be able to see that player's goal. Anytime I go to record a swing, I can quickly check these trackers now by just tapping on that bullseye icon in the upper right hand corner. When I go ahead and record swings, it's also going to track progress against this goal. This is an amazing feature for us to be able to see how well our player is making progress. If I pull up a different swing of this player, we'll be able to see how his goal here changed with those colors. So now at the top of his backswing, we're seeing that he's in range with his mid-hand sway, his lead elbow flexion, and his trail elbow is just barely inside of that range. So now that we created that student account, we analyzed their swing, we created a goal for them, we can now give them any additional information that we need to. So here, I'm going to show you how I like to kind of lay out my lesson for a student. I'm just going to go to a student page. I'm going to click on one of their names, and then you'll be able to see here their latest session with me. Notice, I typed up a little lesson recap and what we're going to be working on for this player. And then down in the bottom left in the comments, you're also going to notice that I provided them with some drill videos. So you have this ability as well. If you want to be able to type up any lesson notes, all you'll do is just tap the 3 dots in the upper right hand corner, click edit post, and this will allow us to go ahead and start typing up some lesson notes. If I want to be able to comment anything, you'll see I can just write a comment, or down in the bottom left, you'll see that there's a little gallery icon, which will allow me to attach a drill video, a photo, any additional information that you think is going to help your player. So we understand that communication is very important to coaches and the students, so we want to help bridge that gap. So this is just a sample of how I like to lay it out. Feel free, make this your own. You'll notice though, for all my lessons, I'll do a little recap at the top and I'll put some drill videos in as comments for them. Some additional features to help us stay organized. Down at the bottom right, you'll see there's a notifications tab, and you'll also see that there's an inbox. The inbox will allow us to basically text back and forth with our students, and then notifications will let us know if a student has messaged us or if they've recorded any swings, and we could then go ahead and look at that information. If you ever need to change anything in your profile, in the upper right hand corner, you'll see my logo. When I tap on this, there's a few different options here in the settings area. If you want, you can change the speed units, you can change the distance units to the metric system. If you want to use cellular uploads, where it is uploading the video to the cloud from your cellular data, you can always turn that on. And then also, if you need to change your body measurements or your notification settings, you'll see that there too. As you can see, there are many great features inside of the app that you have at your disposal. Just to be able to kind of summarize this kind of coaching process and using the app at this highest ability, Obviously step number one is analyzing. We need to analyze our player's swing and just be able to show them what's happening inside the app. Now, in order to do so, you're going to want to make sure that you create those student accounts. That way, you're getting good 3D data. And also, it's going to allow you to be able to then keep everything stored in one spot, which is going to be a great organizational tool. Now, when you go to analyze those swings, remember, your process doesn't have to change. You're a great coach. When you watch somebody swing, you generally have an idea of this is what I can help them with. So my biggest suggestion is still look at the swing from a 2D lens and figure out what is it that I don't like. From there, think to yourself, well, what tracker can I pull up to help communicate this to a player a little bit more effectively? By doing that, you're going to be able to use 3D in every single lesson. And you're going to start to be able to start connecting the dots between all these different trackers, which is going to make you an expert at using 3D. Being able to track progress is an amazing feature that we have inside of our app. So make sure you're creating those goals for your players, and you can then go ahead and check and see how they're doing against those goals that you have created. This allows us to stay connected to our players, see how are they doing when they're not with us in person. It is the first time truly that a player can go off on their own and practice and get feedback on if I'm doing this right or wrong, and it's exactly what us, the coach, wants. And for us, the coach, to be able to see, okay, are they achieving the goal or are they not? And it's no extra work on our hands besides just taking that one little step and creating the goal in the first place. We have many great post-lesson features. Again, I shared with you kind of my outline, how I like to do it. I love typing up some lesson notes. I love being able to go to the comments area here and posting some drill videos, maybe some additional videos that I think would be helpful for them. You can maximize this different feature however you would like, but just know that this is at your disposal as well. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you have any questions, if you need help with anything, please do not hesitate to reach out to me. I am meant to be a resource to you, the coach. My email is ryanc@sportsbox.ai.